Hey, what's up guys? Marc here and welcome to Portfolio Review. So this is the series in which I review artist portfolios, so up and coming artists, to hopefully give helpful feedback so that they can achieve their goals faster. Now the goal with the series is to review 2 portfolios every week, and since last episode, so the first episode was really well received, I figured that I'd keep doing these, and so here we are again, and I'm excited to look at some cool art. Now, if you want to learn a little bit more about who this guy is and why I'm doing these reviews, definitely take a look at the first episode, for which I'll put a link in the description below. Also, you can find it in the top right corner of the screen right here. Now, the main reason why I started the series is because this is something that I already do with my students. So I have an art program, this thing right here, and every single weekend for about 2 to 3 hours, we go over different assignments, different personal pieces, even portfolios, and it's exactly the same deal, so I try to give feedback. And so I figured I'd try to do that with you guys, albeit in a more general format where we're pretty much just focusing on the portfolio itself, not so much the individual art. But if that's something that you think you might be interested in, definitely check it out. You can find a link to that in the description below. So anyways, like I was saying, just like last week, I'll be reviewing 2 portfolios this week as well. What? You want your portfolio review too? Here's what you need to do. 2 things. The first will be to place a link to it down in the comments below, along with a goal for your portfolio. So obviously, if you have a portfolio, it's because you're trying to do something. There's always a purpose behind it. Maybe you're trying to get hired at this particular studio. Maybe you're trying to build online fame so that you can attract more people to your online store. Whatever it is, but make sure you write that goal down and make sure that it is as specific as possible. Just like anything in life, if you're trying to go somewhere but you don't know the destination, it's really hard to build a game plan to get you there, which is why I really put a lot of emphasis on that goal. And if you don't have a goal yet, or if it's not clear, if it's a little bit fuzzy still, if you're not sure, then that should be your goal, to find out what your goal is. So explore different things, try different styles, try characters, environments, props, whatever it is, and make that your goal. But now anyways, the second thing is to have enough art in your portfolio for it to be worth it. So last time I said about, at least 10 pieces, but I would say at least 15 pieces in your portfolio, I think would be a better body of work. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So I think we're ready to look at some cool art. Now, I want to warn you, this week is particularly good, but I don't want this to be reflective of the future episodes. It just happens that the 2 that I selected this week were actually really good artists. But please don't feel discouraged. I'm opening this up to pretty much anybody. The only thing, like I said in the last episode, was that you should be further along in your art journey, because the feedback then will be a little bit more valuable to you. But yeah, that's it. So let's check out some art. All right, so the first portfolio here is by Sam. And Sam's goal is to be more of a generalist, so be able to do a number of different things, which is something that I would usually advise against, but this is something that you really don't have much of a choice if you want to work freelance maybe, or if you want to work especially in indie studios. Now, when it comes to having a wide variety of content, right, covering various types of specializations, such as Sam here, so character concepts, environment concepts, illustrations, which are really the three main categories that I see. The trick is all going to be about finding a way to organize things well. And in this case here, I don't think you've nailed it quite well. So let's see what we could do here to improve. So the first thing is, when we land on the home page, I would just get rid of that page completely. It makes everything pretty hard to see here, depending on the image being shown. The menu becomes almost invisible, and we really can't tell how much art you have or what you're focused on. So I would just get rid of that completely and make the home page just the gallery page instead. Now the gallery page, there's another problem with it, and it is that everything is kind of mixed up together. I know that you have the various links up here, but once again, I don't know what I would get by clicking on these. I'm not sure if it's going to be characters, if it's going to be environments. Most people that are looking at portfolios, they have a specific position in mind. So maybe they're looking for somebody to build to concept a bunch of buildings, or for somebody to concept a bunch of characters, whatever it may be. And that's the section that they're going to be looking for. Now in this case, I don't know what any of these are. So my recommendation to you would be to have 3 different sections here. So maybe like 3 big buttons at the very top of your gallery page. one that would say character concepts, another one that would say environment concepts, and another one that would say illustrations. Those buttons could act as filters, and so when you click them, everything that is not related to that kind of just goes away. Or if your theme, or if you don't know how to do that, you could definitely just have 3 sections, one on top of another. So maybe the first section up here, you could have character concepts here, or whatever. At the section at the top, it should be whatever you like the most, whatever you want people to see first. And so let's say it's character concepts. You could have character concepts here, and then you scroll down a little bit, and then you would have environment concepts, and then illustrations, whatever. That would be a much better way to present your work. Simplicity is always key. Now, when it comes to the art itself, really good. So yeah, I'm not gonna have a whole lot to say here, other than if I look at kind of your body of work here and look at those pieces towards the bottom, I don't feel like they match. They match the skill level that you currently are at, and so personally, I would probably recommend that you get rid of this one here. Not that it's not good, it's just not as good as the rest of your stuff. That one too, very similar when it comes to the sketches too. So I was looking at these here, and 2016, 2015, 2014. Some people might think that it's a good idea to have content that shows kind of your progression over time, so that people can expect, the people that want to hire you can have a good idea of what or how good you're going to become, in the future. But really, no. When people hire you, they hire you for the skill that you have right now. They don't really care about you in the future. If they were betting on that, then they probably wouldn't bet at all. They would just wait until you're actually that good, so that they can then hire you. When money is involved, it's a business, right? They want to mitigate the risk, and so they're not going to hire somebody with the hopes that they'll get better over time. It's really, you're hired for your current level. So that's what your portfolio should feature. Only art that represents your current level. But yeah, the rest here is, I don't think there's much more that I would remove. Maybe this one here as well, for similar reasons. Now, other than that, when it comes to your art, I don't think I have much to say because it's really solid. There's only one thing that I noticed with this particular character here, and I thought I would point it out because maybe you haven't noticed, and if that's the case, then hopefully that's going to help you in the future. And I'm setting this up as if it's something that's, like a big deal, but it really isn't. It's very small. And it has to do with the colors that you use here. So, vivid colors like red are really good magnets for the eyes. So this is something that our eyes are automatically attracted to. And so that can be very good if you are using that as a way to attract the eye towards the focal point of your character. Usually that's going to be the face, because that's how you communicate with other people, that's how you read emotions, and that's usually the first thing that you see when you meet somebody, right? Their face. You're not gonna look at their feet first. And so when it comes to character concept art, that's usually what you try to embrace. You go with the flow, unless you have a very specific idea in mind. And this is exactly what's happening with this character here. The first thing that I notice is going to be his hat. So the red on a hat, and then the thing on the arm, and then the rest of the character. So I don't think this is something that you would want as a concept artist. You would want people to look at what's important first. So all I did here in my paint over is just take some of that saturation, take some of that warmth out of the hat and sprinkled it everywhere else. And this is what you get. Before, after. So as you can see here, everything else is a little bit warmer. The skin is a little bit warmer. The metal here, the gold, is a little bit warmer. Also has a little bit of glow. And then some of the red here is sprinkled down in the front. And really the reds up here and the reds on the arm is just knocked down a lot in saturation. And in the shadows here, instead of using kind of a cooler red, I went the opposite direction, so towards a more warm orange, desaturated orange. Now it looks almost like a desaturated green, but it really is just orange. And this makes the contrast between warm colors and cool colors in your concept a little bit less intense. And yeah, the main goal here is to just improve the initial reads. So yeah, there you go. Great job, since this was the only thing that I could find. Just, saturation, playing between cool and warm colors, and being careful with the intensity of the colors that you choose. But that's about it. I didn't notice this problem or this issue with your other concepts. So it was really just with this one here, so that's why I wanted to point it out in case you hadn't noticed. But yeah, the rest of your content is amazing, so I'm going to move on to the next portfolio, but make sure that you check Sam's portfolio. I'll put a link to it down in the description below, along with any social media links that I can find. But now let's move on to the next one. Now, the next portfolio by Melika is, so her goal was to work for trading card games, so create the art for trading card games, and she's actually done that, you know, a lot. So there's a lot of commercial art here. So I mean, first thing that comes to mind when I look at your portfolio is that it's stunning, right? So there's so much quality here, very, very, very talented. And for this, I think this is the link that you gave me, but I also see like a portfolio tab here. And this looks better, so I'm gonna go with that, because in here, when you look at all, there's just some pieces in here that look a bit older compared to your more recent stuff. It just doesn't have the same like wow factor than your other pieces have. So going to your portfolio section here, I mean, yeah, so I wanted to select this one because this is a really, really good example of what to do. The way you present everything in here, you know, even starting with your banner here, showing some of your best work. So we get a lot of art right away. And then all of these pieces here, which are clearly, you know, your best ones. I mean, this is super good. Yeah, really, really, really good art. This too, really, really good. Nice colors. Nice lighting, nice composition here. I think for me, you know, this is one of my personal favorites in your portfolio here. So I could definitely see that either as, you know, like a magic card, but there's enough style to it that this is definitely something that, you know, somebody looking for artists to work on a Hearthstone, for example, I'm pretty sure they'd be excited seeing this. So definitely your stuff is more, you know, more Blizzard than it is Magic the Gathering. So yeah, excellent portfolio. Now there's a few pieces that I would suggest that you just kind of remove from it, just because it doesn't, it's just not to that level. So this one here, it's a minor feedback, you know, but it feels like, since the tree has so much of these nice highlights, you know, like the sun going through the leaves, I feel like the dragon doesn't have enough. Maybe like this is it here on the wing, but I feel like you could have some on his face. It would bring the attention back to the dragon more. I think it'd make for a more successful piece. But this one is really good anyways. This one is well executed, but I don't think it has the wow factor that your other pieces have, the first ones that we look at. This one, I think I would remove this one. It's really good, but I don't think it's as good as the other stuff that you have. Same with this, very good technically, but it just doesn't have the same wow factor. This one's another good one, you know, just like the rest of your portfolio, but I don't think it's as good as the first ones that we saw. And just, you know, technically speaking, is just not as challenging. So yeah, maybe a little bit less pleasing to the eyes. Again, you know, the bar is really high. Compared to the first ones that we saw, this one I think could go as well. This one too. It feels a little bit more flat compared to the other work that you have. And yeah, understandably, it's definitely older. This one's a weird one to have in your portfolio, but it's so well executed that I would just definitely leave it there. This one I would also remove, just because, yeah, it's definitely older. And yeah, it looks older, you know, again, very good, but not as good, not nearly as good as the rest of your stuff. Same with this one here. I removed that one too, but I don't think it helps you for what you're trying to achieve. I don't think it helps your goal. But as I said at the beginning, you know, this is an example of a portfolio that is extremely well put together, both in just overall presentation, organization, and kind of the target audience, right? So it would be really, really hard to put together a portfolio that will help you towards your goal more than this. Just keep it up. This is really, really awesome stuff. So for everybody else watching, you know, this is what you should be aiming for in your portfolio. Now, as usual, I'll put a link to Melika's portfolio down in the description below, as well as all social media links that I can find. Definitely check her out. She's got some amazing stuff. So You will not be disappointed. This was a treat, you know, to go through. And so that's going to be it for today, guys. So I hope these reviews were helpful. You know, even if you didn't get selected this week, hopefully the feedback was still somewhat relevant and something that you can apply to your own portfolio. Don't hesitate to let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. And I'll see you next week for another portfolio review. Peace out.